Well, I hope we didn't mess up.
One ticket?
Yeah.
Okay. At 3:15.
Yeah.
Rondvaart Canal of Delft. It's more than 1200 years old. There on the right you can see a house with purple stripes, number 77. This is the only house in the city center with a balcony at the front side. So there used to be a third window, but because these people couldn't pay their taxes anymore, they closed it.
What's up, guys? If you could guess where it is, leave it in the comments. I ain't gonna tell you just yet. You have any boat tours today?
Yes, the next is at 3:15 in 45 minutes.
The price? For one person?
$12.50 per person. Can you pay by card?
Yeah.
Because we also accept cards. Only not American Express.
Okay. I have Visa.
Yeah, then that's okay.
Okay.
One ticket?
Yeah.
Okay. At 3:15.
Yeah.
Will be $12.50, please. Making a vlog of Delft.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself.
Oh.
You can hold it against it. Yes.
Cool.
And your tickets.
Thank you. I'm from St. Martin.
Oh. How do you like it here?
It's wonderful.
Yes? It's a bit cold as well, I believe.
Yeah, I had to put Vaseline on my skin.
Yeah, also because of the harsh air.
Yeah.
It's really dry air.
It's a change of climate.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me a few days, I'll be good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And I wait
see
here.
you. Yeah, you can wait here. You can also walk around a bit. If you're here 3:10, it'll be all fine.
Okay. What's your name?
Demi.
Demi?
Yes. Hi.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Studied for 3 years now in Delft, and I study civil engineering. And I will be your guide today through Delft. And I will tell you something about the history and the nice points of Delft. Today we're going to pass 24 bridges, up to 431 in total in Delft. And I'm not going to tell something like every bridge that we're going to pass, but most of the bridges have their name of what is traded on or around them. So right in front of us we have the rope bridge. And if I don't say anything about a bridge, you can see by most of the bridges the name on the side of the bridge. And by this bridge, it's on the right.
Get ready, guys.
We're now getting into the wine harbor, and the first building on the right were the old wine cellars. And the building right next to the wine cellars is the old butter house. It's now the butter house restaurant. And if you look at the top of the facade, you can still see a little butter barrel. And of course, by the butter house, you have the butter bridge. Because by the butter house, the higher quality butter was sold. And at the butter bridge, the less quality butter. And the butter bridge is here on our left side. And it's a special bridge, because this is the longest bridge of Delft. It's almost 100 meters long.
100 meters long.
And in Delft, a lot of famous Dutch people have lived, and one of them is Johannes Vermeer. Johannes Vermeer is a Dutch painter, and he painted the view on Delft, the girl with the pearl. And so he was born in Delft, and there are many theories for where he was born precisely. And one of them is that he was born on the Delft Canal. And at number 25, and the Vermeer Centrum is nowadays there. And the Delft Canal you can see here on the right. It's the bridge below this bridge. A little sneak peek of the Delft Canal. So it's possible that Johannes Vermeer was born there. At the same time that Johannes Vermeer lived, also Anthony van Leeuwenhoek lived. And he lives on the left of us, right next to Bakery van Manen. And you see a sign on the facade with his name. So who was Anthony van Leeuwenhoek? Anthony van Leeuwenhoek was one of the founders of the microscope. He discovered very strong microscope lenses, so he was one of the first ones to see the bacteria in the canal waters. And there were a lot of bacteria in these days, because that was the 17th century. And we're now in the Hippolytus buurt, the Hippolytus neighborhood, and Saint Hippolytus is the holy protector of the old church. And we're going to see the old church on the left of us in a second. And as you can see, every Saturday there's an antique market here. Yes, it's every Saturday. And also on the Brabantse Turfmarkt there's a sort of normal market with fruits and flowers. So the old church was built from 1240 to 1605. So it took 365 days to finish the church, and it took so long because of financial reasons. That they didn't have a lot of money, so they stopped for a while and then continued. And you can still see this, the different kind of bricks that were used. And you can see this better if you pass this bridge. And in the old church, a lot of famous Dutch people are buried, and one of them is Johannes Vermeer, the painter, but also Anthony van Leeuwenhoek from the microscope. And many people think that the royal family is also buried here, but they are buried in the new church on the market square. So if you look to the church on our left, there are a couple of market things in front of it, but you can see two parts. The left and the right part, and I think that if you had to guess that you think the right part is older. But this is actually a newer part of the church. But it's a cheaper stone, so they could continue to construct the church. But cheaper and less quality stone, and that's why you can see this older now. But it's actually the newer part of the church. So if we pass this bridge and then you look at the left, you can see a blue grayish house at number 5. This is the oldest house of Delft. This house was built in 1521 and it was one of the first brick houses. And this is actually the reason why it's the oldest house. Because in 1536 there was a big city fire in Delft. And this city fire destroyed almost 80% of the city. And because every house was made of wood, it spread very fast through the city. And because this house was made of brick, it didn't burn down. But after this fire, the government decided that between the 4 to 5 houses there has to be a fire space, so the fire can spread as easily as it is in 1536. And such a fire space you can see here on the left, after number 19, is just a space between the houses, so the fire doesn't spread as easily as it happens in these days. Century Delft was famous on its many beer breweries. And at the top moment in 1550 there were 200 of them in Delft. And there were already 80 of them along this canal. And you can still see this if you look at the road. It's a little bit tilted towards the water, so the beer barrels could be rolled easily from the houses, the breweries, into the boats to transport it. Right in front of us we can see the fish bridge, and the fish bridge is a Venetian style bridge. It's made of iron. It's a different style than the rest of the bridges in Delft, and it's named after the Brothers Fish. And the Brothers Fish were one of the most famous beer brewers, and they had their brewery on the right of the bridge and their home at the left of the bridge. And on their house you can still see a little fish in the facade. And the brewery is the grayish building on the right. Ships that were lower in the water into the right, and the empty ships that were higher in the water into the left. And from here the goods were transported to The Hague, and that's why the bridge right in front of us is pointed to the right, but we're staying in Delft, so we have a little bit more difficult turn. And just before the bridge on our right you can see a sign with Karel's house. This was a house for mentally ill people. And other people could pay a little amount to look at the crazy people, so they could maintain this building. And nowadays there is a student house in it. And right in front of us you can see a sign with Biscuit Soap Factory. And in the sign you can see 3 crosses. So this was a soap factory obviously. And you can see 3 crosses, and it's the city logo of Amsterdam. Amsterdam was famous of its high quality soaps. So this soap factory sold their Delft quality soap for Amsterdam prices because everyone thought that it was Delft Amsterdam quality soap. Turn, you can just make this turn after a lot of practice, but it just fits. Canal of Delft. It's more than 1200 years old, and Delft actually has its name from the verb delven, which means digging, because all the canals had to be dug by hand to transport the water out of the city, because Delft is built on a very soft soil. And you can also see there's a bit of right in front of us, because this is the other side of the old church, and as you can see, it's tilted. So the church already started tilting when they were constructing it. And this was of course a big shame, because it had to be the nice piece of the city, and it's the house of God, of course. So they did some optical movements in the church to make it seem less tilted. And I will try to show you them. The first one is that the lion on the right is a little bit bigger than the left one. We have two red lions, the right one is a little bit bigger than the left one. So it seems like he's pushing the clock upwards. And the two towers on the right are a little bit smaller and longer than the left one. The one that's the most obvious is that the ornament at 9 o'clock is a lot longer than at 3 o'clock. So especially from far away, it seems like the church is less tilted, but from here it became more banana shaped, because the upper part isn't tilted and the lower part is. But even as the church was already tilting, they decided that it would be a good idea to put the heaviest clock of the Netherlands in there, called Jiglr, almost 9,000 kilograms, and they actually don't weigh it anymore, because they're afraid that the church starts tilting again, so they only ring it with a smaller hammer at the hour, and they ring it with full glory only at royal funerals. So when someone of the royal family dies, they are buried in a new church, and they ring the Jiglr. At the highest point of the church, it's tilted 2 meters to the right and 1.5 in our direction. Very thin. And then the sewage system used to be connected to the waters in Delft, but it isn't connected anymore, of course, because otherwise no one of us would be in this boat. But you can still see the sewage pipes along the canal in the walls. One of them is just behind this bridge on the left, and only pigeons live in them nowadays. There's one in there right now. And here on the right you can see it because of the high wall, but there's this old St. Agatha monastery, and now it's mostly known as the Prinsenhof, because this is the place where Prince Willem van Oranje, the Prince of Orange, lived for a while, was eventually killed by Balthazar Gerards. And it's now a museum, the Prinsenhof Museum, and if you go here you can still see the bullet holes in the wall. But they became much bigger because everyone went with their finger in there, so it's much bigger than it used to be. And a little bit of darker story, Balthazar Gerards was soon caught after the kill of Prince Willem van Oranje, and he was split in 4 parts, and every part of him
this is huge.
they hung it up on one city tree. Canal. This is the smallest museum of Europe. 1 square meter, it's free to visit. And here on the right is the place where they used to and still manage to run a natural and water quality Delft. And that's before you can see the family weapons of the people that used to work there. And as you can see, they were very wealthy because they asked money for the waters of Delft. And it was very important to manage the water level and water quality in Delft. If the water level was too low, the bigger ships couldn't sail on the waters anymore. And if it's too high, you can't pass many bridges. And especially the one right in front of us, because this is the lowest bridge that we're passing with our tours. And just before this bridge on the right, you can see a red house, number 147. This is the smallest house of Delft. And as you can see, it has 2 front doors, and one of them is a gate, so it's even smaller than it looks. Many people on the boat, if with 2, you have 1 or 2 centimeters at both sides. Here along the Raga bridge. You can see a house with red shutters. This was old grain storage. The shutters were used to protect the grain from the sunlight. And nowadays this is also student housing. Anyone knows Chemont was a Dutch painter, and he always painted messy and chaotic households. The levels like children, dogs, everything was in his paintings. And that was very unusual for the time, because everyone wants their family pictures in a nice way, but there wasn't like this in those days. And Jan Steen lived for a couple of years in Delft. So in Dutch we have also a saying, de huishouding of Jan Steen, het huishouden van Jan Steen. But this means that you are familiar with the messy and chaotic householding. So if the Dutch person says this to you, it's definitely not a compliment. And we live here just behind this boat, you can't really see it, but maybe we just pass it at Hotel Bridges. We lived there for a couple of years. Isn't known anymore from its famous painters or beer breweries, but mostly of its technical university, the TU Delft. And the TU Delft actually started here on the old Delft. In this building here on the right, this was the old headquarters of the technical university. And the TU Delft became too big to be in this building, so they moved a little bit outside of the city center in the south of the city. There's the campus nowadays. In this building only foreign students study. And a white building right next to it shows all its faculty of the technical university. And in this part of it now is the student house. housing, the biggest student housing of Delft. 28 boys live there. They share one kitchen. So they say the householding of Jan Steen moved across the water of the old Delft. Why is this the only one with the balcony? Because where we're now was all big sewage, so it wasn't very pleasant to sit at the front side of the house by the open sewage. So right in front of us you can see a white wall. This is the old St. Barbara Monastery. And this was one of the 30 monasteries that Delft had. And this was taken by the Germans in the Second World War. And after the war it had to be renovated, but the government didn't have any money for it, because a lot had to be renovated in Delft. So they sold it to students for this amount of 1 guilder. Renovate it, and they did, and nowadays it's the biggest students award in Delft, most reviewed, and almost 2,000 students joined. And right in front of us we have the Orphanage Bridge. This is the oldest bridge of Delft. It was built in 1573. Introduction week a couple of weeks ago, so the new students know where to go. But you can also see that there are many bikes that are outside of houses. If there are many bikes in front of a house, then it's probably a student house. And many of those bikes also end in the waters of Delft, Because before we started with the tours in 1968, 2,000 bikes were removed from the waters. And it seems like a lot, but every year now 400 to 800 of them are still removed.
Big up. How you like it so far, guys? Leave it in the comments here. Delft Canal tours.
Located. And this boat of us is the oldest boat that we have. I think we started in 1968. But in this part, 12 men started the charter to transport goods on smaller ships between the Hague and Rotterdam, because Rotterdam is that way, and the Hague is where we just were by the turn of the bridge. And from here the goods were transported between these cities, and that's why Delft was such an important place for the VOC to be located. But this is also the place where Johannes Vermeer painted its painting The View on Delft. And he did that from the corner on the left of us, by the monument with the colors and water drops. And he painted what is on the right of us. So the painting that you have now will get, this is the View on Delft of Johannes Vermeer. So he painted it from the left of us and he painted what is on the right of us. And as you can see, I also could have put the boat somewhere else, because you can't actually recognize anything. There's one thing still the same, and that's the tower of the new church. The rest of the city has changed. We don't have city walls and city gates anymore. There are a couple of pieces left of the city gates and city walls, but the only thing you can recognize is the tower of the new church. side of the city, mostly the Eastern Indian Company was located. In this part of Delft, the Western Indian Company was located, the Davy State. And the Davy State is known for the slavery trade. Is the other side of the weapon storage that we saw. The building here on the right, the Mentale plot on it, this was the old office of the Western Indian Company. When Delft got a city rights, and that was in 1246, also taxes had to be paid. And they decided to do this at the amount of windows on the front side of your house. So if you had a lot of windows, then you paid a lot of tax. So this was of course a nice way to show off how rich you were. Because if you had a lot of windows, you were very rich. But it could also happen that you couldn't pay your taxes anymore. And such an example you can see here on the right. The first red building with the yellow details. It seems like there's missing a third window. So there used to be a third window, but because these people couldn't pay their taxes anymore, they closed it.
Wow.
And this was of course a big shame, because it was a way to show off how rich you were, but this could also happen, and then the whole city could see that you couldn't pay your taxes anymore. And because every building is a monument, the owners of this building can make a third window again.
She's saying the more windows you have in the past is to show how much money you have. And if you couldn't pay your tax, you lose a window. It's crazy.
We're now getting onto the corn mark, and this is the widest canal of Delft. And that's why the Lion Bridge right in front of us has two arcs. They didn't have the knowledge to make one arc. Building here on the right with the sister on it. This was called Hospital of Delft. And in this hospital, a doctor named Raga worked there, and he investigated the female genital system. And he actually did this with the microscope lenses of Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. And this isn't the Hospital of Delft anymore. This is mostly a parking place. But the Hospital of Delft is a little bit outside of the city center and is now called the Raga Hospital, named after the doctor. The Lion Bridge here on the right is the synagogue of Delft. One story left, and it's about the building on the right, just before the grey one. where the can is in front of it. But there's something strange about this building, and I don't know if anyone can see it. So this building with the orange bike in front of it, it doesn't have a front door. And they say it has to do with the tax system. And when you live there, the stopper that you pay taxes on the side of your house with a front door. So he moved his front door to another side of his house with probably a small window. So he didn't pay a lot of tax, but he did seem rich from the front side of his house because he had a lot of windows. We're almost back where we started. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour, and if you really enjoyed it, we have a hidden show for the kids, but please don't feel obligated to do so. And have a nice day, yeah?
Oh, you reached back already? So how you like your toast, or how you full enjoy it?
It was okay. How do you like it?
I loved it.
Okay.
These guys are going on Daytona now. Ah, yeah.
Show me, jongen. Zo hard gewerkt vandaag. Ja.
Both parking space. So yeah guys, this was fun. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part was. I got a little history of canal, you know what I mean? Thanks for the tour.
You're welcome.
Good vlog?
Huh?
Good vlog?
Yeah man.
Oké, heel goed. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. What page am I calling?
DutchYardeezTV.
Dutch artist.
DutchYardeez.
DutchYardeez?
Yeah.
What's the meaning?
Dutch, so I'm born Dutch.
Yeah?
And Yardeez, I'm Caribbean.
Ah, okay. So that's your
combination.
yes.
TV.
Good job.
Thank you.